To all of our local, regional and international listeners, all of our listeners on the new U975 FM Multicultural Radio, all of our viewers on Synergy TV, our viewers on the Caribbean Showtime Television in Canada, YouTube and Facebook viewers, thank you kindly for choosing us. A very warm welcome to another edition of the program Conversations with Zelisa, where we continue to inform, educate, empower and answer those unanswered questions. I am Zelisa Budusing Rupani, humbly inviting you to sit back, relax, enjoy, absorb, have your pen and paper nearby or your phone so you could take important numbers that will be helpful for you and your loved ones. All right. Directing this morning and in Master Control, Akua George, we'd like to wish each and every one of you a wonderful day today. It's the middle of the work week. It's Wednesday morning. Happy Wednesday. Wednesday the 8th of February 2023. It is a day and time we will never have the opportunity to have again in life. So don't procrastinate, don't waste your time, do something constructive and productive. And if you're celebrating a birthday, happy birthday to you. If it's your anniversary, happy anniversary to you and yours. Whatever event you're celebrating today, do it in a matter that you respect it. All right? So my friends, let's quickly go to our quote for today, coming to us with the kind compliments of ZMB Communications Limited. And it says, if you get tired, learn to rest, not to quit. Gosh, Akua, it's like every day you preaching to me, boy. If you get tired, learn to rest, not to quit. Very often when we get tired of a situation, we feel we've got to give up and we've got to quit and we've got just to let it be. But you know what? Take a break, get some rest, rejuvenate, get your thoughts together and restart. Thank you, Akua. I think it's a beautiful quote and thank you so much for that quote. It came to us with the kind compliments of ZMB Communications Limited. Our guest today is Sajina Kadir, attorney at law, and she's going to be talking to us about the practice of law in Trinidad and Tobago. Let's say good morning and a very warm welcome to attorney at law, Sajina Kadir. Good morning, my dear friend. How are you? I'm not getting any volume. So can we try this again, please? Morning, Sajina.
Good morning. Are you hearing me, Zelisa?
Loud and clear. How are you, my friend?
Lovely. I'm good. Hello to you from the virtual world this morning, right? It's just how the morning is going.
Thank God for technology, and it's doing very well.
That's right.
Thank you, darling. Thank you so much. Good. So today we're going to be talking about, and people like to call you. I've already advertised on radio this morning that you're coming on and they'll have the opportunity. So yes, regardless if we are having you virtual, they'll have the opportunity to call in later on with questions or concerns. But today you're talking to us about the practice of law in Trinidad and Tobago. Can you give us a definition of exactly, what are you talking about?
What it is about, right. So I had some discussions with some of my colleagues, and oftentimes we see practice of law in Trinidad either being remembering that it's a very noble profession or it's not the standard it ought to be. So the suggestion of the topic today about practice of law in Trinidad is for the members of the public listening and viewing to understand what it means for an attorney to be practicing properly in our country.
Ethics. We're talking about ethics now.
Exactly.
We're talking about ethics, protocol, and the correct way that it should be done. Brilliant. I love this.
That's
great.
Right. And before we actually get into it, Zelisa, I thought it was prudent for persons to understand, even to the younger audience viewing, is there's always this glam about being an attorney. So some people, when they apply for law school, whether it's a Hewarden or a foreign-based institute, it's almost as if, it's such a excitement versus a purposeful profession. And the reason I'm saying this to the younger audience is if you make the decision to do law, let the guiding factor be your desire, your passion to do it. Otherwise, your performance is not going to be top notch.
Very true. And that being said, across the board, whatever you do, you ensure that you do it with a passion, you're eager, you're enthused, it is what you choose to do, and that
Yes.
way you become successful, and on top
Yes.
of that, you are happy doing what you do, so you are going to get results.
You make such a good point. And I'll say this, I don't think my former associate will mind. She always wanted to be a pilot. She worked at my office. She did law, she was practicing. But if you ask her if she's happy, the answer is no. Because if you don't have that desire or driving force, your work will feel like a burden. And then the ripple effect, Zelisa, is you're going to put it off onto your clients. Then it becomes a money-making thing, not a purposeful occupation to help persons whilst making an income, because obviously it's a job. But you must
Yes.
also like what you do, otherwise it will reflect in your practice.
You're very correct, and I've always said to people, both radio and television, if you love doing what you do and it's your job, then you'll never work a day in your life because you love it. You don't take
Yes,
it as
I've
work,
heard you
but you
say that. I love that.
but
Yes.
you take it as a passion and you do it with all because you love doing what you do, and that's how you get results. You said something that's extremely important, and that is in terms of attorneys. If you really genuinely do not love what you do, your heart is not into it, you will not get the results you expect to get. And you know who is going to pay the price? The
The
clients.
client. That's right. And Zelisa, at that point, my former associate, she will bring like certain gifts and stuff over the years. At some point, my office looked like a little travel agency because there was little planes on her desk and
Yes.
that sort of thing. Because if you don't genuinely want to do something, it will show in your style of practice. And before we get into the actual attorneys and proper practice, it was important to mention it starts from law school. It starts from that decision if I truly
Okay.
want to become an attorney. So that will really be your guiding factor rather than doing it because your parents want you to do it or because it's what everybody is. Everybody's a doctor and lawyer. That's not right. You need everybody.
That's right.
So I mean, once you make that decision, you have to be able to stand by it because it's an oath you take to practice fairly and in the interest of justice. And it's how you treat people.
Correct. Very, very correct.
And
So,
then as we
please, I'm
So,
sorry. Go right
as we
ahead.
go on now into the actual practice of law, once an attorney is admitted to the Bar of Trinidad and Tobago, we take an oath on that day, as I was saying. And when we take that oath, we swear to practice conscientiously and without favor, act in the best interest of the client. So it really starts from a law student to determine how you would be, whether you practice independently or with a law firm.
You're very correct. It's a decision that one makes, but of course, giving it your all. So, with that being said, let's talk a little bit about in terms of protocol.
Right. So, with an attorney who practices properly, in terms of protocol, a new client may come to the office, right? When they come to the office, you give them a chance, an opportunity to speak without interjecting, so you could understand their circumstances before you impose what the legalities are on them. Of course, you're going to stop them and ask them questions in between, right? But you're not going to impose your view until you have a holistic understanding of what it is about. Now, this first meeting is called a consultation. It's important. Some persons will call attorneys' offices and say, well, I just want to find out something. It's not so simple because the minute something goes wrong with your matter, the blame rests on the attorney because the attorney has conduct of the matter.
Right.
So when persons say, I just want to find out something from the attorney, every attorney will frown upon that because it does not give the attorney a chance to act responsibly. So when persons know that they have to come to meet an attorney, they usually have to pay a consultation fee, discuss the matter. If the attorney decides to move forward, then attorney, following protocol, Zelisa, is supposed to take written instructions from the client. So it's not supposed to be just verbal, well, I'll do this matter for you and pay me X amount. You're supposed to take written instructions from the client so that it matches your actions, it matches your paperwork, your actions in court, and it matches your receipt books for transparency across the board.
Very
So
good.
these are some protocols that must be followed when you are interacting with a new client or even an ongoing client. Everything you do, Zelisa, must be by written instructions, because let's just say 5 years later, and it's usually years later, if something comes up in the matter and one of the parties say it's undue influence or something, at the end of the day, you pull your instruction sheet and you could show where I acted on the instructions, this was done, this was the fee paid. So there's transparency and no allegations could be formed against an attorney. And once things go wrong, there's always the blame game, eh?
Now, I want to talk a little bit, you talked to us a little bit about fees and clients and having accountability and transparency, which I think is extremely important. In terms of seniority and payments and costs of certain things, can we talk a little bit about that openly?
Sure.
Because from the time you hear the word, or from the time you think attorney, lawyer, you think big money.
Yes.
Yeah, and a lot of people genuinely are not in a position to have a lot of money. As a matter of fact, I have a good friend. I spoke with her earlier this week, and she was divorced, but she's at a stage now, even though she's divorced, she's having some difficulty with some things that she would need to iron out. And her first thinking is, I need to get some stuff sorted, but can I afford an attorney? And that's the first question or the first thought that will come, because not everybody may. So in terms of figures, and can you advise us on fees? Can you advise us a little bit?
Sure. I want to start from basic, right, which is the consultation session.
Right.
Oftentimes, students are overwhelmed by a consultation fee, right? But a consultation fee actually depends on your years in practice.
Oh.
So a new attorney cannot charge what an attorney of over 30 years charges, about $1,500 in consultation. But remember, on the same note, you're paying for somebody's expertise, somebody's experience, somebody's knowledge. And they really block out a half hour to an hour to engage you into what exactly are the facts and what exactly is the problem. So a consultation fee for a junior attorney is far less than that of a senior attorney. It does not mean that the more it costs, the better service that exists, because there are some junior attorneys who are excellent. And if somebody, when I was a junior, if somebody didn't give me the opportunity, I would not have been able to grow with my advice.
Correct.
See? And
we know experience is the greatest teacher, right?
That's right. I specifically remember working with an attorney for 1 year in practice, maybe less. And I used to do all the advocacy. And a client specifically told my senior, no, I want her sitting somewhere on the side. I want you to do my matter. And then when her next matter came about, she said, no, I want her to do my matter. I want her to do my trial. Because everybody has a chance to grow. You see? So
you're very correct.
Yeah, in consultation fee and stuff, it really depends on the years in practice. Similarly, with regard to matters in the court or non-contentious matters, which are matters outside the court, Zelisa, there's a scale of fee to follow. So,
Understood.
for example, an attorney in court has a scale of fee to follow. So, therefore, if they're an advocate attorney, if they're over 10 years in practice, they're entitled to $2,500 per hour or any part thereof.
Per hour?
Yes.
$2,500 per hour. Okay.
Yeah. But do you know sometimes, Zelisa, because of the economic reality we're living in, I can speak for myself and some attorneys do it. We don't exactly bill the fees that we're entitled to, because we know money doesn't grow on plum trees.
Right.
And it will be difficult for persons to afford. So
Right.
sometimes you can waive fees. It's your discretion, but you
Good.
can't go over what you're allowed.
Understood. Now we're going to take our first break, and
Sure.
then when we return, I've got a question that came in. Somebody's very confused. It's a personal
Sure.
situation, and I'd like you to advise them legally on how they could move forward and what they could do in such a
Sure.
situation. Let's go to
Yes.
these important messages. When we return, we continue our conversation with learned attorney at law, Sajina Kadir. And today we're talking about the practice of law in Trinidad. If you may have any questions or any concerns and you need some sort of legal advice, you can do so when we return. Stay with us.
Super quality supermarket. Best quality and great prices. Get your fresh fruits, vegetables and meats. It's a one-stop shop for the most affordable groceries, baby items, kitchen supplies, bathroom accessories, car care supplies, pet food, toys and lots more, all at Super Quality Supermarket. Wide aisles, fully air-conditioned and secured parking. 3 locations nationwide: Couva Car Park, Couva, 98 Endeavour Road, Chagonas, and 47 Tissue Drive, Trin-City. Super Quality Supermarket. Visit Agri Savers Limited, number 19 Orange Grove Trace, St. Augustine, for all your agriculture, livestock, pet, agri-equipment, hydroponics, cannabis, fishing tackle supplies, and much more. Open Monday to Friday 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Contact 473-6074, 663-1094. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
The Untold Truth every Friday at 6 p.m. The journey has just begun with Master Eric, Zelisa, a new kind of podcast getting to the root of hidden knowledge. You can join us on Facebook,
Conversations with Zelisa, TT.
and YouTube, Master Eric. Your journey has just begun.
Welcome back to the program Conversations with Zelisa on the new U975 FM Multicultural Radio, Synergy TV, and the Caribbean Showtime Television in Canada, as well as YouTube and Facebook. Please like it and share it because it's great information. I'm in conversation this morning with learned attorney at law Sajina Kadir, and today, she's talking to us about the practice of law in Trinidad and Tobago. So at least we'll have an understanding of the law and, when it comes to protocol and things like that. So let's say welcome back to Sajina Kadir, attorney at law.
Thank you, Zelisa.
Welcome back. I'm going to read something that came in from someone, and I would really appreciate if you could advise this person accordingly, all right? It says,
Yes.
Good morning, Zelisa. This is about my dad. He is 94 years old on the 15th of February. My big sister took my dad 3 years ago and she robbed him everything. He is now homeless. He cannot read or write. He does not hear good. I don't know what to do. He ran away and came to my house. This person did speak to me about this already. You see, she sent me a picture of her father. I'm begging you to guide me because I do not know what to do. She stole all his money in the bank, his house. She rented out upstairs and downstairs. Please help. What do we say to this lady? How can they now? This man is an elderly guy. He's going to be 94 years old next week. He ran away from the daughter who took his house, rented out the house, went into the man's bank account and take all his money. So he ran away from her and went to another child's house. The other child now is thinking, what can he do at this age to at least get back in his home or get back his money?
Right. So I want to firstly say it's the court's duty to protect vulnerable citizens, right?
Right, yeah.
So this person should speak to an attorney, but I would summarize surely because it's very urgent with the age of the person. It's inhumane not to address it. So therefore, if there's an issue, what she needs to do is either carry him to an attorney or have a power of attorney done. I don't know if that person was following our program when we did power of attorney, but it gives the person power to act on their behalf with regard to financial and business affairs. So therefore, the person can't act for him medically. However, there's the other option of filing an application in the High Court of Justice to be considered his guardian, to act on his behalf in any regard. So she
Right.
has those two options. When an allegation is made of stealing someone's stuff, a police report ought to be made. And subsequent to that, a pre-action protocol letter should be sent to the sibling to try to ascertain what documents she relied on to go to the bank and take his belongings. Did the other sister have a power of attorney? What documents she relied on? Because a bank is not just going to give the money. So if there's a situation that exists like this, it's always important to call upon the offending sibling to provide full and frank disclosure of why she acted in such a manner.
Right.
And if it is disputed, then it becomes a contentious issue, for example, fraud or other issues in law.
Well, allow me to say this. There are many situations where parents, because of the trust and faith in their children, health concerns, they can't go to and from the bank or to purchase medication or to purchase groceries, or they want to give some money. They casually take their card and give the number to the children and say, hey, hold this, or go to the bank and take out money, and or you could go to the teller, you could just go to, follow what I'm saying? That they don't, and they have access to the account or the card, and they could just go and take out how much ever money, and they drain the parents in this situation. Allegedly, this is what we are hearing. In a because some parents, they don't have any other choice. They can't walk, they're sick, they don't have a, so they depend and they have the trust in their kids. And then there are children like this who are bad, really bad, and they're like thieves, they're monsters, and they take advantage of their vulnerable and elderly parents.
Right.
What can the parents do? I'm sure there are lots of people out there, Ms. Kadir.
Yes, I agree with you. So if no document exists, and the person is using the bank card, there's an application that could be filed after you send the pre-action letter. That's the first step in any proceedings. If it doesn't work, there's a principle called constructive trust, where the sibling could, if Lord forbid anything happens to the father or during the time his lifetime, she could make an application to the court with regard to the monies that would have been deducted unlawfully or without consent.
Okay, good. So I want our listeners and our viewers to know, if you are in a situation or you know someone, especially elderly people, are in such situations, that you can have that situation solved and get back what is due to you and have your rights.
But they need to act quick.
But you need to act quick, because you do have rights. And you don't sit idly by and allow people to manipulate and to take advantage of your situation.
While he is alive.
Exactly. Fix it while you're alive. So there you go. So that person who sent that message. Now, to any of our listeners or our viewers who would like to call in, you have any questions or concerns regarding the law, or you're in a situation you need some sort of advice, all you need to do is call us at 3847142. That's 3847142. Take the volume down on your television, take the volume down on your radio, then call. Or like the person who just sent us that message, you can send us a WhatsApp message. I'll read it to the learned attorney and she will advise you accordingly. So you're welcome to call. You're welcome to send your WhatsApp messages. 3847142. Learned attorney at law Sajina Kadir will be happy to guide you accordingly. Ms. Kadir?
And Zelisa, a lot of people, like you were saying, are fearful of the exorbitant cost of an attorney.
Yeah.
I really feel you need to mention at this point,
Yeah.
there is the option of legal aid. Is there a
Right.
call on the line?
Yes, let's take this call.
I was listening. Yes.
Welcome to the program.
Good morning to the guests.
Hello?
I have a pet peeve. The situation is there's a bar not too far from where I live, and the music is most of the time loud, right? My point of issue is that why is the EMA always try to shift and put it out of their responsibility and tell me to call the police. And when I call the police, is a different kettle of fish. Could you elaborate on me? On that for me, please?
You're very, thank you, sir, and I'm happy that you raised that point because you're correct. Ms. Kadir, I think legally you're not supposed to have a bar in a community. I'm just thinking, I stand to be corrected in terms of a school, in terms of close to homes
Yes.
and can you advise us accordingly?
Ideally, when a person applied for a bar license, it was at that point in time for objections to be raised why they ought not to be in that community. So I definitely advise a person to, before the bar license could be renewed, go to the court to inquire when next it is to be renewed and file objections. However, for now, if that person is such a disturbance, the option is correct to call the police and to inform EMA. EMA could be informed in writing. And if you find no one is taking you on, you could file a private criminal complaint action in the magistrate's court in the area in which you live to bring up that person for that level of nuisance in your area.
Great. Let's take this call. Good morning. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, welcome.
I have a problem.
What's your problem, sir? Well, I have a problem too. Are you listening or you're looking at the program?
I'm looking at the program.
I need you to take the volume down on your TV, man.
Okay, all right.
Thank you. Gosh. Let's follow rules now.
Creates a disturbance.
It is. Yeah. Hello?
Yes.
Yes. What's your question, sir?
My question is that I have, my son was with a girl. Yeah, and he gone out, right? And she occupied my place. I give him, I tell him, you are so mad. I tell him, God empty and do what you have to do with this girl. And next thing he leave the girl there, gone away, and the girl go in the station and they think she fence my place and all kind of damn with municipalness.
So she's still living in your place?
Yes.
And you want her out?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I went in the station, they sent police to me, take camera, what she doing, and she ain't stopping.
Okay. All right. I want you to listen to the television now. Miss Kadir, you heard the situation. His son
So
was
says that his son left?
His son was in love. His son was involved with a young lady, and they were both living at his home. The son gone away to live, but she has not left. She's still living in his house. He called the police. Nothing seems to be resolved, and she's not leaving his house. You saw some people.
So,
God, boy.
Yes. Assuming, without knowing factually, but assuming he is the legal owner by that deed and he was but merely allowing them to stay, all the lady would have is a mere license to occupy. So if she's not leaving, a pre-action protocol letter explaining that she was but merely a licensee occupying the premises out of the relationship with the son and calling upon her to vacate on or before 2 weeks, it's very important, because if he sits by and allows it to happen, he's silently acquiescing or allowing the situation, and she could be developing rights if she does renovations and stuff. So he needs to act quickly to have her vacate under the civil realms of the law and a license to occupy being revoked.
You see how some people come and take over your place. She ain't put a cent into how that man find that property, pay for it, whatever. She was involved with the son. He go and live in his life, and she wants to. So that gentleman, get an attorney and get help. The phone line is ringing off the hook, but I need to go to a short break after these messages. We continue our conversation with Lind attorney at law Sajina. Kadir, you can call in after, you can send your WhatsApp messages. Let's go to these important messages. Stay with us.
Welcome to the Antediluvian Nature Center of Life Extension and Health Recovery. Coming from the Garden of Eden, the Antediluvian Nature Center brings to you breakthrough medicines and anti-aging technologies for all ailments and diseases in the body, nutritional therapies, naturopathic treatments, as we create opportunities of hope and celebrate longevity. And remember, the healing is from God.
This is Full 100, an all-natural herbal dietary supplement formulated exclusively for men. Our proprietary blend was designed with one goal in mind: to improve your overall health, rejuvenating your vitality, energy, strength, and libido. Want to be at your peak performance in everything you do? Then get Full 100. Fast-acting, long-lasting, with no side effects.
Oh my God.
Agni Puja and Gift Shop, home to an extensive array of fine jewelry, books, authentic saris, and all your puja needs. Telephone 669-5058, located at Caroni North Bank Road, St. Helena.
Welcome back to the program Conversations with Zelisa. Thanking you kindly for choosing us, allowing us to answer those unanswered questions, and of course to keep you informed and empowered. Knowledge is power. This morning, I'm in conversation with Lind attorney at law Sajina Kadir, and today she's talking to us about the practice of law in Trinidad and Tobago. To all those calls that were coming earlier on, you're welcome to call now. Good morning and welcome to the program. Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
I have a complaint.
Okay.
Can your children make a will for you, or I have to make a will?
Okay, I'll let the attorney answer this. So I want you to listen now, and she's going to answer. Go ahead, ma'am.
Only you can make the will, caller, because only the person who has the estate or the assets then in their name can make the will. Nobody can make a will for you. And if you make a will today and feel to change it tomorrow, you could revoke that will and change it, because it will be your last wish and right as the testator or testatrix, the person making the will.
Good morning.
Good morning. The children want to make a will, but I have already made one, and they want to make one behind my back.
Lord.
Or they can't do that. And if they do, I strongly suggest you leave your will in the hands of someone you trust, so that that person can carry out the legalities to carry out your wishes upon your passing.
Right.
And get that will registered legally.
Where do I have to go?
You could go to...
So you could register it in the probate section of the High Court of Justice, but if you don't want to go through that hardship, leave it with someone you trust.
All right.
You could go to a justice of the peace and things like that and get it registered. Somewhere in your community, there should be a justice of the peace. If I'm not mistaken, attorney, counsel.
Right. So they can help you draft it, but with regard to registration, it's solely in the probate section, whether it's Tobago, probate, Sando, or High Court. But now what they're doing, it's not mandatory that you registered. You can leave it in the hands of someone whom you trust. So if you feel it's one of your children that's going to be an issue, leave it with none of them. Leave it with somebody whom you trust.
I agree with you there. But make sure and put that in place, because they can't go behind your back. First of all, that's illegal. And it's your wish and what you want to do with what is yours that is That is what matters. All right?
Yeah, thank you.
All right, darling, you're welcome. You see how important this show is, counsel? That people,
Yes, it is.
because there are children who are bullies, and there are children
That's
who
right.
take advantage of their elderly parents and want to take what is theirs, and they work a day in their life for it and expect to take control of what is theirs.
And when we talk about practice of law, which the topic entails, because we're giving members of the public opportunity to call in, but I want persons to understand with the topic, which is practice of law, your attorney is supposed to communicate with you. In as much as you expect your attorney to communicate with you, you can't every day nag your attorney for an update, because if there's an update, the attorney will give you the update, right? So in terms of practice in law in Trinidad, whilst it is the duty of an attorney to communicate, there must be a balance so that members of the public don't keep calling the office, you have any update, you have any update. We don't have none if we haven't communicated, you know?
I have another another message that came in, and I want to read this here, because a lot of people, they do things by word of mouth, or they take it for granted. And before I go into this, there's something I need to say as well. Sometimes you feel you trust someone, or you feel you know someone, you have that instinct and you take it for granted and you say, okay, come do X, Y, Z for me, and you don't find out before, or you don't fix a price before. And after the work is done, they want to come and bust price on you and take advantage. And these things do happen to people who just feel like trust people.
That's why I wanted members of the public to understand. You're supposed to explain a legal fee to the legal fees to the client, take the instructions in writing, and for transparency, issue a receipt.
Exactly. And I want to read this. Good morning. I built a house from man for $40,000 2 years ago, and up to now he did not give me any money. I don't have any paperwork. What can I do? And this happens to many people.
Yes. So human to human, firstly, I want to tell the person who messaged Zelisa, make that mistake never again in life.
Yeah.
Always have things in writing. That's your safeguard. But we don't want to say coulda, woulda, shoulda. So if you didn't have anything in paperwork, the question is, do you have anything on your WhatsApp that could show that there was a contractual binding agreement? Do you have anything in email? Was there any recorded phone conversations? Everything is about evidence. He who alleges must prove. So therefore, I mean, you have to start from phone, text messages and stuff to piece together your evidence. And Lord forbid, if you don't have that, was there anything with the hardwares that linked you to that person in terms of they paying material? So you have to really think now, okay, don't panic. I don't have a written agreement, but where can I show that I did work so that if I do bring a civil action, I stand a chance? And your first option is your pre-action protocol letter, giving full and frank disclosure as best as you can where there was a contractual agreement. And in the future, if it reaches the court, there's witness evidence. Your workers would have worked there. They'll come to corroborate, to support what you're saying. The hardware may have delivered things. So you actually build and show, like piecing together puzzles, Zelisa. Like you show that, listen, I have engaged this person and I'm entitled to my money. The actual quantum that may be awarded is up to the courts.
Girl, the truth is, sometimes you feel you trust somebody. They come so nice and they come as good people and they think, but they are con artists. They are trained con artists. They are trained thieves.
They're in the habit of doing it.
And you take it for granted and you trust them, and then they take advantage of you. But what goes around comes around. I always say that.
Yes, and I always say, Zelisa, there's a higher court in heaven to deal with people like that, because that's totally dishonest. And it's somebody's time. They ought to be compensated for the work that they do, you know, and if they've been getting away with it. I urge the scholar or the person who sent the message to do something, put a stop to it. He might be preventing other people from suffering like this.
So again, let us remind our listeners, remind our viewers, if somebody is supposed to do work for you or you are doing work for somebody, make up a little paper. Right, I am so-and-so with so-and-so, this is my ID, this is where I live. I have agreed to do work for XYZ, X amount of money, or I did work, let them sign, make an agreement. And or X, Y, and Z is owing me money. Sometimes you take up money, somebody come casually and say, oh God, I'm in some problems and I need $5,000, and you feel sorry and you give it to them. But who is accountable for that? God forbid something should happen. What happens? It's $5,000 that's yours, hard earned, and you should get it back.
Exactly.
And it could be a sister, it could be a brother, sister-in-law, brother-in-law. Get things in writing. And I like what you just said there. A little WhatsApp message is you know, that could, I say, but look, you agree, look, this is what happened, you know, get something. Prevention is better than cure.
That's right. And in speaking this morning, when we were talking about the practice of law, we touched on scalar fees, we touched on an attorney's duty to communicate, but the client's responsibility not to keep nagging the attorney as well. It's a balance, right?
Yeah.
I really wanted to touch on an attorney ought to be professional, but an attorney ought not to be emotional. And I say this because very recently I had a domestic violence matter. Now I went ahead to do counseling for victims of abuse so that I could take on a softer side to understand my matters, because predominantly I have a family practice, right?
Yes.
But I realized you cannot be emotional with your client. So there are some persons who will come to an attorney's office and feel an attorney may be a little cool, but we are there to provide legal services, not therapeutic services. So while we should have a human touch, we can't cry with the clients.
Right.
I remember in law school, that's what they were saying, don't cry with the clients.
You can't become emotionally attached, I agree.
Exactly.
Because then, no, you can't cross the line.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning, sir.
How could I make an appointment to get in touch with this lady?
Send me a WhatsApp message requesting her number, and I'll send you her office number.
Okay, fair enough. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome, sir. Have a good day. Yes, for any, if you would like to get in contact with her, please send me a WhatsApp message 3847142, and I would be happy to send off her office number, so you know, whoever would like to get in contact with her, I'll be happy to share it. Yeah. 3847142, questions, concerns, comments, please feel free to do so. And if you have any questions for the learned attorney, she will be more than happy to guide you accordingly. Counsel?
Yes. So we were just saying before that person called, we cannot be emotional with a client, because then it prevents us from having that objective stance and trying to advise the client accordingly. So the whole point of practicing law, and the topic here today, Zelisa, is we must always strike a balance between the attorney's responsibility and the client's respect to the attorney as well. Because you can't have a client thinking that they retained an attorney or they paid for consultation or something, and then every day, if one breeze blow and they call to ask another question, it doesn't work so. You have a consultation, you sit and you explain what your issue is, the advice is provided, you either follow it or you don't follow it. And it's important for members of the public to understand they are also responsible, so that they don't keep communicating or constantly call an attorney's office when there's nothing more that could be done than what was advised.
Well, my humble advice, and I would say this openly, with all due respect, if you know you are going to an attorney and you have that consultation and you go in, write down your questions now. Whatever questions or concerns you may have, because sometimes when you're talking, even if you go to the doctor, write down. I always tell people, make a little note, because sometimes you forget in conversation. So you make your little notes and you have your little questions and walk with a pen and paper and take little notes, so that you don't have to be calling them morning, noon and night, because the truth is they've got cases to fight, they have people to other people to deal with.
The luxury of time is sometimes challenging, and then all that will happen is if you don't write the questions down like you're saying, they're going to have to waste time coming back again and asking the same questions. And there's this misconception right now in Trinidad that I'll WhatsApp the lawyer and ask something, but WhatsApp and text is the perfect way to misconstrue legal advice or to be irresponsible, for an attorney to be irresponsible, because it doesn't give that discussion forum.
I totally agree and endorse what you've just said. And I again would tell people, if you know you're going to an attorney, you have some questions, you're going for a particular, if it's for your business to be solved or resolved, then write down your question. So when you go, you could ask, take little notes. So you don't have to be calling them morning, noon, and night. And of course, don't cross the line. And again, I would also say on the part of the attorneys, you really cannot cross the line and get emotional and get into their business. They are there to conduct business. It's not about a person, anything personal. So the attorneys also need to know where not to cross the line in terms of going overboard.
That's right.
Be
so
professional.
You make a good point. The attorneys, and with regard to the practice of law in Trinidad, the attorneys have that responsibility to the client, vice versa. But also to Zelisa, attorneys under the Code of Ethics have a responsibility to their fellow attorneys, because sometimes we'll have coming into our office a client desirous of changing their attorneys. An attorney is not just supposed to jump on board another attorney's matter. Under the Code of Ethics, we must write to the attorney to inquire if any legal fees are owed or if they're going to exercise a lien on the file before we just say, okay, it's a new client and jump on board. There are certain protocols to follow under the Code of Ethics if an attorney if a client desires to change attorneys. So attorneys not only have to have the respect between the client-attorney respect, but attorneys must respect their fellow attorneys under the Code of Ethics in Trinidad as well.
No problem. Let's go to these important messages. When we return, we continue our conversation with Lint Attorney at Law Sajina Kadir, and we continue to take your calls, your questions, your concerns when we return. Stay with us.
Super quality supermarket. Best quality and great prices. Get your fresh fruits, vegetables and meats. It's a one-stop shop for the most affordable groceries, baby items, kitchen supplies, bathroom accessories, car care supplies, pet food, toys and lots more, all at Super Quality Supermarket. Wide aisles, fully air-conditioned and secured parking. 3 locations nationwide: Couva Car Park, Couva, 98 Endeavour Road, Chagonas, and 47 Tissue Drive, Trincity. Super Quality Supermarket.
My friends, this is Kieran Joseph Samaru. At a time when our country is going through so many challenges, economic challenges, crime, social disruption, a breakdown in infrastructure, and no light at the end of the tunnel, we must stand on a platform together and move forward. Join me on U97.5 FM for the People's Platform, a brand new, dynamic, powerful talk show that gives you, the people, the platform to speak about the issues important to you, the issues important to us. The People's Platform, every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. on U97.5 FM. The People's Platform with Kieran Joseph Samaru, standing side by side with
Agni Puja and Gift Shop, home to an extensive array of fine jewelry, books, authentic saris and all your puja needs. Telephone 669-5058, located at Caroni North Bank Road, St. Helena.
Welcome back to the program Conversations with Zelisa. I'm getting so many messages here from all of our viewers and stuff like that. Welcome back to the Lint Attorney at Law.
Thank you, Zelisa.
Good morning,
Welcome to
Zelisa.
Good morning.
I have a question. If
Sure.
I want to leave all that I have to one child, should that child be the executor of the will?
Yes.
Counsel?
The executor, yes, that's correct. Well, she will be the executrix. It's female, but same concept. And yes, she could leave it to herself. Just that if she's the beneficiary, the independent witnesses can't be related to her. Otherwise, in the future, some sibling or relative could come and question its authenticity and that kind of thing.
Okay? I'm sure that person, yeah? 3847142. So like that lady said, it's her choice. If she has 5 children and she chooses to leave whatever she has to one child, that's her choice, her decision.
Yes.
And so she would need to put
Yes.
things in writing, put things
Whatsoever
in
you
place.
desire.
I
Yes, make
choose
that
to,
will.
right, make that will and put things in place because it can be questioned.
Zelisa,
So-
I wanted to explain one point certainly, if I'm allowed, please.
Sure, please.
With regard to the practice of law in Trinidad, right? You know, an attorney is supposed to practice with integrity and honor. It's a noble profession, right?
Right.
There's always this fear with regard to legal fees, as you're saying, and being human, you know, you're human before your law degree, right? I want to emphasize to persons in the public, if you're scared of what the legal fees might be by an attorney, there is the option of legal aid. Everybody has a smartphone, and if you don't just ask anybody for legal aid in the area in which you live. And also, as you know, Zelisa, and members of the public listening and viewing, there is also the TTPS Community Justice Clinic, another free option once a month, the last Saturday of each month. And I know you've partnered with us to promote the places, and it's
Correct.
always on the TTPS website, Facebook page when next the clinic will be. But it's always the last Saturday of each month, 8 o'clock to 1 o'clock. And I already know this month, one of the locations will be the St. Clair Police Youth Club, and I believe the other one will be in Princestown. But when we get the information, we'll
Great.
pass it.
We will
There
share
are
it.
options at low cost to members of the public.
Great, and I'm happy that you've shared that because there are people who really need that help genuinely. And
Yes.
so when we get that information as well, we will also have an ad, both radio and television, sharing that information. That is my commitment to the public, all right?
Yes.
I would like to read this, okay? And it says, here we go. Okay, 1 second. I bought a house from my in-laws on their land. I have lived there for 26 years. However, my wife is living in the US and is now remarried. So I am assuming this is his ex-wife, all right? Since you remarry, it means you have to be divorced to be remarried, if I stand to be corrected there. Well, he goes on to say, I want to know if my in-laws can have me removed from the land. The land was given to me by my father-in-law, who is now deceased. I am 68 years old. Thanks for the information. What do you say to this gentleman?
Right. I want to say to him that in order for me to be responsible, my best advice to him is to sit and speak to an attorney, because he has now touched on matrimonial rights there. Was it given as to the parties as licensees to the property under the civil realms of the law? Did it form part of a matrimonial agreement after their divorce? So it would be highly negligible of me to just comment on that without asking him at least about 20 questions, Zelisa.
Yeah,
So he needs to speak to an attorney, definitely, in more depth rather than this forum here.
And I agree, I totally agree with you, because you need to get some one-on-one or whomever he chooses. But to that gentleman, you're 68 years old. Don't procrastinate. My humble suggestion is get some proper legal advice immediately.
Because I've dealt with a property before I was born, Zelisa, and now I'm practicing. That was never touched on with property settlement, but a property could form a property settlement even if you don't touch that issue in law for years. So it's important for him to sit and discuss that with an attorney.
And a lot of people sit idly by and take that for granted, word of mouth, and then, you know, things happen, relationships don't work out. Nothing is guaranteed. Tomorrow is not promised. And with that being said, the importance of putting things in place and ensuring.
And you said it earlier, putting things in writing, whether it's with regard to property or something that you want to leave to upon your passing, but you really need to get your house in order, because somehow along the way, Zelisa, I've realized there's always somebody who might be a little problem that you really will be like, okay, good, I have my document, I could relax, I know everything was done across the board all my T's were crossed, all my I's were dotted, you know?
Correct. With regards to some of the questions that we received today that people were concerned about, you realize it's about it's personal stuff like land, children, property,
Yes.
houses, things like that. And I want to get the message loud and clear to our listeners and our viewers. It is your duty, your responsibility to protect yourself and what you've worked hard for, what you've earned.
Yes.
And it is also your right to do what you choose to do with it. But because of the law and because of situations and circumstances, always remember to put things in writing. Again, let's go back, as we always say, make a will. Put things in place so that it doesn't become difficult when you pass and go to the great beyond. You people don't take it for granted. If you lend somebody money or you borrow money from somebody, get it in writing, have proof of it. If somebody's doing some work for you, don't trust them. Take my word on it, because I have also been in a situation like that, that you take it for granted, you trust this person, and then they give a bombshell on you because they think you're, you're a woman, or they think they feel whatever, they could take advantage. So always, prevention is better than cure. Put things in writing. Find out first. Don't just trust people because you feel they're good, or you take it for granted that this is a good person or honest person. It doesn't matter who it is. Put things in place. Find out. Make sure, okay, fine, agree that you're happy with whatever. Don't let people take advantage of you. Yeah?
Yes, I wanna add, Zelisa, Senior Superintendent Michael Pear, who's with the Community Justice Clinic, he specifically stated openly that you're a model media personality. And the reason I'm saying this and endorsing what he's saying this morning is this program, in such a short space of time, you see the amount of persons calling just to get a basic understanding of some legal issue. And this program really presents a forum where persons could call in, ask their questions, have their concerns answered. Is very empowering and enlightening. And I really do commend you. And I want them to know that not every attorney's office is going to be exorbitant with fees. And if that's the case, there are forums like Conversations with Zelisa and the Linked Review program to afford the opportunity, and then the TTPS Community Justice Clinic and Legal Aid. Don't feel helpless, get the help by the forums, whether you could afford it privately through this program or in general through one of the free options.
Yeah, and the thing is that this program has really been designed to help and assist and guide people, educate and empower people, because there are so many other people that are grateful just listening to the problems that some people are facing, and they don't have the power within themselves to pick up the phone and call, but they're getting, or they know better now.
They're benefiting from it. Yes,
exactly.
That's why I say this program is very enlightening. It's one of the few programs I would say that really gives the opportunity for members of the public to do what we're doing here right now.
And like I said, I give you and my word, whenever the community justice, wherever you are at, we are, once we get the fly and the relevant information, we are going to make sure and share that information via the show as well as via our radio station.
Yes, persons could just plan their day and come out on that day. It's free, take advantage of that opportunity.
I always advise people the importance of doing that. Knowledge is power. Your closing comments for today, please, Counsel.
I strongly urge members of the public to understand that their attorney has certain responsibilities in law, and you must work with your attorney. Your attorney and you are supposed to be on the same team, and there's supposed to be mutual respect to get the job done. And if you can't afford a private attorney, examine one of the free options available, but just don't sit down and worry or complain. Get out and get help.
Get up and get help. And one day late is one day too late. Don't procrastinate, don't waste time.
That's right.
Something happens, get on top of it immediately. Prevention is better than cure. Take action and do what is right. My sincere thanks and gratitude as always, Ms. Kadir.
Always a pleasure being in your presence.
God bless you, and you'll be joining us next week again. Take care, darling. Bye-bye. Have a great day. God bless. And of course, here's reminding you to please respect the law of the land, do what is right. Again, don't let anybody fool you, take advantage of you. Take control of every situation in your life. Learn from your mistakes And here's reminding you that with God, all things are possible. I thank you kindly for choosing us, allowing us to influence you in a positive way and answer those unanswered questions. Do continue to stay with us, Ultimate in Programming, the new U975 FM Multicultural Radio. I am Zelisa Budising Rupani. Thanks again for choosing us.